There's not a new parallel. Okay. Exploring time. Oh, let me sit down before I break my spine. Okay. Yeah.
Let's see.
Meow. What do we have this time? Swords. Well,
We defeated Lord Arundel. The Emperor must have been surprised. If we can keep up that fervor, perhaps we'll capture Fort Mercius and move on to the Imperial capital. We must not be overconfident, though.
let's proceed with caution.
Yes, I concur. Humans and beasts are ultimately the same. When they're cornered, they lash out however they can. They fight for their lives. Who knows how the Emperor will lash out? We have to be careful.
We took quite the detour. It was time-consuming, but finally, we got the information we needed. We crush the Empire, we get Lady Rhea back. 2 birds, 1 stone. First, we take Fort Mercius. I'll put my heart in it. I'll crack him like a rusty helmet.
I love a good fortress. The perfect place to hide. This one's impregnable too, isn't it? Perfect! As soon as we take it, I'll set up a special spot for Bernie.
We can take it. It's not impregnable.
I guess you have a point. What would you call it then? A little pregnable?
I guess we can reinforce it. Annette, are you okay?
Oh, Professor! Good timing. You have to talk some sense into my father. Recently, he's been doing nothing but work himself to the bone. Even when he's taking breaks from training and errands, he's apparently listening to reports, day in and day out. He's getting on in years, you know? I just want him to take care of himself.
That's fair, but I don't think I can stop that man.
Professor!
Maybe.
Have you attacking an impregnable fortress head-on is rather impressive. Or suicidal. Depends on the day, really. You know Fort Mercius's nickname, I assume. The stubborn old general? It may be stubborn, but its age means it's gotta be hiding a few weak spots. Makes sense to aim for those areas.
Scatter the bone meal.
Professor!
Children.
Let's see. Is it true Lady Rhea was taken to the Empire? Why'd they take Lady Rhea? Professor, they didn't take her to kill her, did they?
If they took her, they probably didn't kill her, because they could have just killed her.
Yeah, good point. If they did, we'd have heard about it by now. You gotta help her, Professor. I'm begging you.
The Alliance. The merchants.
I keep forgetting she says things. let me reread that.
The Alliance is just gone. It's hard to believe. The merchants of Deirdre all have nerves of steel. I'm sure they'll be up and running again in no time.
Professor? Greetings, Professor. Nothing to report. Is it true that we'll be assaulting Fort Mercius next? That doesn't sound like the brightest idea. I've heard that it's built to withstand an attack from even the largest of armies. And not to tell you how to do your job, but don't do it. I'm not ready to say my final goodbyes to everyone.
Professor? You know, Professor, laying siege to a keep is like asking a girl out on a date. First, you get past her defenses, then you make your move. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a seasoned veteran at this kind of thing. Girls, I mean. I've never actually, you know, captured any keeps. Anyway, I figure you go after the main gate. You take that out, and I'm sure we can win. Of course,
I don't know
you're
about
making the
that.
tactical calls. I'm happier to follow.
That sounds like a terrible idea. When all, like, most of their defense be at the main gate, why would we go for the main gate?
Definitely.
This is why he doesn't actually have a girlfriend. Oh, these are just guys. Just some guys.
Hey!
Hello
So Lady Rhea was in the Empire all this time. Wish I'd known that 5 years ago, but there's nothing we can do about it now. What we can do, though, is topple the Empire. Will you seize victory with us, Professor? For the sake of the late Captain!
Yeah.
Hi. Death Knight. Going to fight the Death Knight.
You seem concerned.
To be perfectly honest, I am.
Oh.
Could be. Just as we suspected. Lady Rhea was taken to the Imperial capital. We must get to the capital as quickly as possible. So many people are worried sick about her. I do wonder when Claude managed to learn Lady Rhea's whereabouts. He's pretty shrewd. I can't help but admire him.
I wonder where Claude will go. From the sound of it, he's leaving Fodlan altogether. He was strangely gallant about the whole thing. Even left his relic behind. Elusive and mysterious to the end, isn't he?
Weren't the Kingdom and Alliance once part of the same country? If you think about it that way, it makes sense for them to unite. I suppose the Kingdom was once part of the Empire as well. Even if Fodlan came together, I wouldn't be surprised if it fell apart again.
Yeah.
Weren't the... If you think... I suppose even if
Wake up, eat, train, eat, sleep. We gotta prepare for the assault, but that hasn't changed my routine.
Isn't there more you can
All
do?
that training and eating I do is for the sake of Fodlan. Gotta stay strong and fed to keep it safe.
You know, I'm kind of hungry, honestly. Maybe I'll eat after this month.
This is my absolute.
Ivy.
Mercedes is like my favorite. I can't marry her though because she's my sister. Why is Balthus like singing? I'm happy. Doesn't she hate the church?
You look like a cat that's been...
I may...
I've learned...
Oh. We did it. The final support of the main party.
So, now you've held Thunderbrand. Learn anything? What's going on? You look like you're going to faint. Is that Thunderbrand's doing?
No, not at all. My body is operating at its normal, healthy level of sleepiness. I felt no effect at all, honestly. Perhaps one exposure to the relic wasn't enough.
Don't tell me you want to get a hold of it again.
Of course not. There is a difference between taking a risk and being a fool. Interesting experiment, though. I used all my might, yet absolutely nothing happened. It seems if one's crest is not compatible, a relic simply will not work. To feel that response, to better understand the bond, that is more than enough for me.
I see. What will you do now? I assume your relic research is complete.
Not at all. I have other clues to follow, experiments to perform. That said, I would be pleased if someone who could use their relic with all their might would join in my research.
What? You don't mean me, do you?
Now that you mention it, I suppose you would fit the bill.
Sure seems that's
Don't
what
get
you were
conned
getting
into
at.
this, Catherine.
Fine. When the war's over, I'll help with your research.
Oh, you will?
I figure if I don't do it, he'll find some other poor soul to bother. It's like I'm keeping a high-maintenance cat. You're endlessly curious.
I am not being kept. The sentiment is welcome, but I am still not a cat.
He is a little bit cat-esque.
Fort Mercius is the Empire's single most fortified military installation. Utterly impregnable, they say. I wonder, do you happen to know the nickname given to Fort Mercius?
I do.
Indeed, a very good answer. But of course, you'd know that. Seems Fodlans give everyone and everything a nickname. Why, you were called the Ashen Demon. Myself, I have been called the Father of Crestology, which is a nickname as well as a title, I suppose.
Why are you blushing?
Each step closer to Enbar, I'm reminded of another part of my past. Riches and poverty, glory and failure. That city has it all. And if I'm honest, sometimes I miss it. That's how the past works, though, isn't it? It's always a different story than what you really lived.
Fort Mercius is a keep that was constructed to defend the imperial capital, Enbar. We cannot enter the capital without first capturing that fort. But once we have it, the city should be almost entirely at our mercy. Now that we know Rhea is there, we must move with the utmost urgency.
The Death Knight. I shudder to think of him. Professor, you remember my connection to him, do you not?
Of course.
I'm still working through the trauma from back then. All these years later. If we meet him, I swear I will have my revenge.
I didn't train you enough. You can't get your revenge.
Professor!
Even in the kingdom, only a few people knew about His Highness and Edelgard's relationship. Me? I always knew those two to be like brother and sister. To think that we would come to see this world, where they are at war with one another. I live it, and can still barely imagine such a truth.
And well, you know now, it's entirely because Edelgard doesn't like talking.
Professor!
Well, okay, she likes talking, but she doesn't like explaining anything, why she's doing it, and for what reason, to other people in an understandable manner.
Well,
And she's also not open to negotiation. So,
Professor,
yeah.
from this point onward, we're in all-out war with the Empire.
She's also not very
Are
sentimental
you prepared, Professor?
compared to Dimitri, who would probably be swayed sentimentally if, like, the situations were reversed. Oh, are you?
I have already steeled myself as best I can. First, we capture Fort Mercius. The fighting will undoubtedly be brutal, but we must prevail. As far as this army and I are concerned, you're our last ray of hope. We are relying on you.
I also feel like the only way this whole situation would not happen as it does is if the Edelgard from her route and the Dimitri from his route were in the same route. Unfortunately, they're kind of two different people, though. The Dimitri in Edelgard's route, and then the Edelgard in Dimitri's route. Yeah.
Claude has stepped down from leadership, and Leicester is now a vassal state of Fargus. The lords of the Western Kingdom are beginning to declare fealty to us in greater numbers also. The Empire is our only remaining enemy.
There's also the fact that I don't really like how they implemented Claude.
Professor.
I feel like he's really not as important as the other two, which makes me feel like they should have just focused on the two routes. Maybe they could have done a third route with the church route instead of it being Claude, unless they made Claude align with the church for some reason instead. Either way, the way they did it,
Well,
probably not the best right. I don't want to talk to him. He's just gonna try to get me to strip. Sword turner? Catherine. Catherine. Is she winning? Who knows?
I'll never back down.
I can't believe you lost one assassin. Okay, well, sometimes you get crit. I don't even know what to eat. I said I was hungry earlier. I'm thinking about it. The food.
Let me ask you something.
All this savagery, day after day, is depressing. Do you have any ideas for fun things I could do to feel better? Drink some tea. I guess.
How are you doing, Professor? Would you care to join me for a cup of tea?
Okay.
It occurs to me that whenever we chat, I have a tendency to pester you with my questions and theories about your history. It seems only fair to speak on the topic of myself for once. And perhaps you might feel more positively inclined toward my research if I shared my own story.
So you just want me to help with your research?
Not at all. I am quite honest in my motivations. Well, I suppose I should begin at the beginning, eh? I was born into a noble house of the Empire. Not a large house, mind you, but noble all the same. Our land holdings were small, but our bloodline was quite strong. So, as you can imagine, there were many of us in the family who carried the power of crests. I myself bear a minor crest. Our family's abundance of crests may be part of the reason I've been interested in the topic since I was just a boy. I dedicated myself to my studies, and after years of effort, I became lead crest scholar at the Empire's largest research institution.
You gave that up to come here?
My research is more important than social standing in the Empire. There I had only Imperial blood, and thus Imperial crests at hand. So I came to Garrick Mach and devoted myself to my research during my time as a professor. My progress is slow, but with each revelation, I move ever closer to the answers I have sought for decades. Your cooperation as the bearer of the Crest of Flames ensures my research will continue to advance. In fact, it may bring me ever closer to the goal of uncovering everything there is to know about crests. I do hope you shall continue helping me advance in this field of study.
If you insist.
Together, we will solve the mystery of your Crest of Flames, and our world will be the better for it. Shall we proceed? My lab instruments are fully prepared. I have a great number of tests I'm excited to carry out. No, don't worry. They won't hurt one bit.
B. Talk to him that much? Tea party. Where are you from? Do you like Almir and pine needles?
I wish this tea were stronger, but with you, anything is enjoyable. So, got any good stories to share? Holst used to make me this tea all the time. Huh? Nothing. Forget it. Thanks.
I'm thinking about what you said.
Smells pretty good.
I don't know why you said forget it though.
What do you know?
I'm pretty sure Holst is Hilda's brother? I think. Oh,
Makes sense. Really?
Oh, tiny buddies?
I'll just come right out and say it. You've got a nice face. Oh, and your personality's alright too.
It's my personality. Sip tea. Well.
That tea was delicious. Hey, think I can drink the next cup in one go?
I think you could, but maybe don't.
Ready? We'll see what happens. At least we tried. Practice makes...
Can't say I'm surprised.
They won't know notice if one person doesn't sing, will they?
Listen to the others and harmonize. Work together. The same in music.
So cute. It's Flane's birthday. I'll give you flowers. Ugh.
Technique never betrays. Something wrong? Oh, nothing. I appreciate your...
I'm just not there yet.
It seems my proficient...
I still have...
I always was.
Always some...
I'm getting it.
Yeah. You used to whine unless you could do everything with me.
Time for you to shut up and eat now. Got it? Enjoy the meal.
Unbelievable. The merchant. Welcome.
I shouldn't. Whoa. No, I wanted to sell.
Is that the one?
Oh wait, 3.
Thanks a bunch.
I should probably use these items. Is there like an easier way to use all of them? I don't think so. I don't even know what luck does. Has various effects. What does that mean? Rest in peace, Theory. Okay. I will. I'll do my. Oh no, I forgot I can't go. Who else is like probably not gonna make it? Mercedes? Okay, give her lemon sword. And then we'll see what happens.
Hate me if you must.
I don't think he's making
This is it.
How are we supposed to get past the Swordmaster? Helix, please. Okay, well, that didn't work. I was gonna eat, but like now I'm so sleepy. I don't think I'm gonna eat now. I'm a little sad. Okay.
We put on quite a show, huh? The two top fighters of the Knights of... I appreciate your...
This is making sense. I'll do my best with this.